What's going on, guys? This is episode 130 of the Game Talk podcast. And we actually got some pretty good news today. It's going to be interesting. Google is going to be coming out with a gaming streaming platform. Castlevania and Contra Anniversary collections are coming to consoles and Steam. And I've been playing Division 2 and have been really, really enjoying it.
And out of all three of those things, only two of them are good.
Pretty much.
I'm hyped about it.
What's up, everybody? This is RevTech, yeah?
And
Come on in, sir.
Resident basement dweller, Metrox.
Resident? Well, that's true, yeah.
More like the housemaid, but details.
Oh. And here you go, Brimstone. I'm contributing an article real quick. Here you
It's good to be back to the back.
Honestly, though, like, Google
And,
Stadia takes on Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo with new online platform. I don't know how I feel about this, you guys.
In the article I sent you, kind of moves it even.
Do what? It does what?
It furthers your conversation about that if you look at it.
Epic's Unreal Engine support for Stadia is already live. Wow. So they're using Unreal Engine for this, huh?
Yep.
Let's
I
go.
was looking at the Google console that we're coming out with, and I was
Ooh.
reading about it, and it seems
Well,
but
Well, here's the thing. If you, I think I sent it around to everybody. You could have got into the public beta for a Google streaming service on your PC
I tried to, but it
and play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. From what I've heard, it ran pretty smooth.
Well, it says it right here. It says 4K resolution at 60 FPS.
Yeah, that was something they were touting at their little event.
Like, really? I mean, really. So, I'm not trying to be mean, or I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative, but how much heat are we talking about with the hardware that's going to be streaming with these items? And
Well,
will Google be able to sustain it?
think about it in this aspect. Think about of all the devices you can run the Google streaming service on without the console.
Yeah.
Think about that in that aspect, because I'm looking at it as what's the best bang for the money, because you're going to have Project X coming out, which is Microsoft's platform. You're going to have PlayStation Now that's been established for a while that's overly expensive. And you're going to have Google service, and then you're going to have Amazon behind all this too, doing their own stuff. So my thing is next generation, and I was going to maybe put it up to discussion with you guys, but next generation, isn't it interesting how all these cloud services, it's going to be the generation of cloud services and which one you're going to pick?
I don't know
And
if I really want that, though.
Yes and no, but you see,
But-
of the old generation,
But
I can't do it.
But here's the thing with all that, though. My thing is the bandwidth. And
Yes.
my thing is most companies, even with us having 400 megs down, right?
Most people
With-
don't have that.
With 30 up or 25 up. Think about the thing is how many people could push that 4K 60
Not many.
at that stable bandwidth.
Not
And
many.
see, and that's where I'm getting at. That's why I was saying, how much heat are we talking about here? I wasn't talking about just Google's side on the platform, because I know Google's side, it's going to be, pretty good, if not the best hardware they can possibly get their hands on of what money can buy. But I have issues with these companies barely even being able to keep up with an always online DRM, let alone a streaming service that can be a stable experience. And I know we talked about the new internet protocol that's coming out. What was it, the other night, Rev?
Wi-Fi 6?
Wi-Fi 6, right? So we know that's coming around the corner. But here's my problem with all of this, though. In the area that me and Landon live, like, these people can barely afford 20 megs down and 3 megs up. Like, internet has still not come to the degree that it needs to. So in order for this to be successful for these guys, they need to come together and push internet protocols down all of these cheap-ass companies' throats.
Well, here's the thing. Here's your problem. and this falls in internet in America. You have big companies like Comcast, Charter, AT&T, really blocking a lot of these smaller companies from getting that bandwidth, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
In most states, you only have virtually 2 companies. So in my state where I live, you only have 2 providers. You have Spectrum, which is 50-50, and you have AT&T with a data cap. And I'm in the old part, so I don't get AT&T's fiber. If I go down the street, I get fiber. And the problem is with that is I'm getting DSL at best. And that's like 3 down with 2 up if you're lucky. Not even for like game streaming or anything like that. So how are you expecting people to unless Google Fiber for some odd I'm assuming they're going to expand it and make it bigger so people, and they include their game streaming service with it and their TV all in one bundle for a flat rate, which would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't think most people are, I think it's cool that they're doing the game streaming. Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool. But at the same time, I really believe it's too early. It's too soon.
Yep.
And another thing is, like, back where I used to live, I lived in an apartment, and they would not install fiber in there. So people that live in apartments that have, like, all this old wiring that can't handle that kind of bandwidth, they're screwed. So they won't be able to enjoy this type of service, let alone, like, you know, houses that people are renting and they can't touch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And good morning, Omega Jim. Welcome, sir. Welcome. I miss your face, you sexy beast.
And for me, like I said earlier, I'm part of the old ways. I don't believe in all this. I gotta stream it because what happens when that game gets pulled off the service, or you want to mod it and the Steam version is mods, but you can't mod this version.
Well, let me force the argument to you then. Take it from people that don't want to buy a console and they just have like maybe a smart TV, for instance, and they just want to get a Bluetooth controller and go. This is plug and play technically, and boom, boom, boom.
But that still doesn't. But that still doesn't answer for the shitty bandwidth in which we were just talking about.
Like the bandwidth is only one of the many issues, but another issue is with most hardcore gamers and some like really like enthusiast gamers are like, we're really worried about is like the death of physical like media within the next 20
I don't
years.
think physical media is gonna die right off the rip. I think there's gonna be the hobbyists that are still out there gonna support it.
The main problem is they don't want things like Steam or even physical things to go away at all. Like they'll at most they said they'll sacrifice like physical discs and cartridges, but Steam should always be there.
I think with the bandwidth thing you're talking about, Brimstone, I think what it'll do is they'll have an auto calibration system where it'll calibrate towards your bandwidth and what resolution you can play your games at. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do to get you to be part of their platform. Like PlayStation Now, if you run their system when you first start it, they determine what resolution you can play your games at. So I'm assuming that's how they're going to do it.
Well, that sounds like poops,
And, did you just assume?
I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it. Like, because if you remember the first, like, and this is I guess this could be said about all new technology because at the beginning, there was early adopter issues with the Play Now service with PlayStation, and there was issues with when PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 was trying to go digital only and make it to where you only had to download the titles. There were actual integrity problems with the file cache where parts of your game weren't even being fully downloaded, even though it said your download was complete, and your character would be clipping through the ground, clipping through walls. And they did videos on this showing like physical versus digital, and on the digital side at the earlier stages had a lot of issues. And I think I'm more fearful of that. I'm not really looking forward to all the problems, you know?
Well, if we're comparing it to streaming, take a look at what music's done. Look at the music industry and take a look at the movie industry. Where do we go to get our stuff most of the time?
Look at the bandwidth requirement, though. That's one-way streaming. That's not two-way.
Yeah, two-way
That's not input directory. Like if you look at the way streaming setup now is, like say for instance, you want to play this, like it's going to require an upload speed that's going to be good enough for you to have that 0 to no latency to your controllers.
Or think about it this way. Well, think about it this way. What happens if they allow a downloading option for the bandwidth?
Then that would be
restriction?
fine. Do the download, and that'd be great. Yeah.
If you had a bandwidth issue and they allow you to download the game, because as long as you pay for the service, that's fine. That's an option that I think everyone who is like of the way of Steam and GOG and Epic Launcher would prefer. And then
I'm not down with streaming though. That's my thing. I'm not down with streaming at all.
No, neither am I. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's gonna be too many issues.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
See, the biggest problem that I've heard no one on YouTube has brought up, is, and a lot of the YouTubers are also Twitch streamers, no one's also brought up the fact that if you're streaming a game and you're also a streamer, you have effectively like cut the rest of your bandwidth. So like, you're gonna be the only one, if that, using all the internet in the house. So
I agree with you.
Like, you can't win, especially if your streamers are the people who get it out there first. They're the ones who promote your stuff first.
And think about that. Think about the chips though. Like here's the thing. Like the chipsets that come into these TVs, into these Android devices for streaming like movies and stuff. They heat up. They get really, really hot, and that is at 1080p only. Okay, 1080p content. That is it. And these things get hot as hell. Imagine 4K 60.
Well, look at the Xbox. Look at the Xbox One and the PS4. Trying to even play it locally.
Exactly. You see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, think about the problems that is going to cause down the line. I'm not trying to be down on this. I don't want to be negative. Like, a part of me is curious about it, but the other part of me is like, which is the tech enthusiast side of me, is like, I know how a CPU works. I know how a GPU works. I know how bandwidth is structured to work. And it just, every fiber of my being is saying, this isn't ready yet to be delivered at all.
No, it's not. It's rushed. It doesn't need to exist. Give it another decade or so, whenever. Like, wait till the infrastructure is there, and then try it. But I still see the pushback that people like.
Well, even phone companies, take a look at the whole. Look what's happening in the States. 5G's not even here, and we don't even have the infrastructure yet for it.
How long were they? How much advertising are they doing for it right now? And how much have they been promising 5G? Hell, they were promising 4G 5 years before 3G was even done being implemented out here.
Yep.
I mean, these companies are shysters, dude.
And also, there's more articles out there about this. Google wants to front a first-party game studio towards their streaming service. And again, I just don't know how this. I just think it's too soon. I think all these companies too soon. I think physical is still going to be around for quite some time.
This goes from the very beginning. Like I've stated, a lot of the digital only era back in the day before it was digital only, I had stated the very same things. We need to master walking first before we start running, and these companies think they've mastered walking yet, and they haven't. I mean, some of these guys haven't even started operating on 1080 Ti's yet. They're developing. They're still operating on old Quadros. And it's just amazing to me that we're in a day and age where everything that needs to be rushed forward to move fast isn't, while all the stuff that doesn't need to be moved forward and rushed fast, like gaming, is. And I think that's annoying. I would rather see more CPUs, more GPUs, more hardware integration, more bandwidth capabilities, more internet types to be, pushed forward, so that way we can handle all the software loads, so we can handle this kind of software engineering, and we can't, and it's just so invigorating. Like, it's so irritating.
It's frustrating. Well, it's great to see technology moving forward, but at the same time, it's frustrating as us as civilians, as average consumers. I mean, we just can't get the technology because we just don't have it in our local areas. You got mom and pop internet providers out there that are literally relying on like bigger companies like Comcast and whatnot for their infrastructure,
Yeah.
and it's just not going to work.
And they refuse to upgrade the copper. Like they don't want to stop pushing copper down everybody's throats. Like before gigabit speeds became even available in the last couple of years out here, they were advertising for it, right? And Suddenlink out here was talking about installing internet servers to your house. So you're going to have a fiber optic running into your closet space, and your closet space was going to house your server. I thought, hey, that's a pretty good idea. Okay. The pricing for this little venture capital was going to be $200. Just $200, one flat fee for them to come out and install all the stuff, right? And then they're going to run fiber optic through your house. And then after everything was said and done, it was only going to cost you about $75 a month. I'm like, hey, that's pretty damn good. You know what Suddenlink does instead of doing what they promised? They went ahead and pushed my gigabit speed through copper. What has happened?
And it degrades the signal.
It degrades the signal. It overheated my lines, and it fucked up my streams when I was trying to host the Game Talk way back when we first started. So until they can get fiber optic through the houses like they promised, I'm not going to really worry about upgrading my internet anytime soon. And I'm sure in the hell I'm going to be signing up for some 4K resolution, 60 FPS gaming, especially if we don't have the hardware to sustain that kind of craziness.
And imagine people getting it on phones and imagining all the issues you're going to have.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And they're not even 5G yet. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to more gaming news. That is, Castlevania and Contra Anniversary Collections are coming to Steam. I am kind of hyped for this. I just now saw this. I'm a Contra fan. I'm a Castlevania fan. I mean, that's a pretty good thing. Right? Castlevania includes the NES. Do what?
I say that's also about time we got some love on the Switch with some Contra and Castlevania.
Right?
Like,
Dude.
I'm not a. I know a lot of people are fans of this game, but I've played it before. I'm just not a fan.
Did you play either one? Did you play either the Contra or the?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, back in the day on on the Segas and the Nintendos. Yeah, I mean, back in the day. I'm glad to see more games coming to the Switch though, and I'm glad to see they're remastering this game and giving it the justice it deserves. Same, I could say the same thing. It kind of falls in the line with Halo. I'm kind of excited for Contra and Halo and a lot of old games coming to the PC and getting what it deserves.
See, yeah, so they're doing okay. So I don't know why they didn't include this, but on the article heading it says Castlevania and Contra, but they're also giving us Gradius. Now I loved Gradius back in the day.
I think it's gonna be part of a separate bundle though.
Yeah, it's gonna be 3 different bundles. It's gonna be a Castlevania, a Contra, and a Gradius.
And a classics with Gradius, yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I like these old games, man. Like I really do. These old games. I don't know, man. Like I could play these forever. Like, and I have. Like I've gone back to some of my old games on my Switch that I bought. I bought some old games on the Wii U that I went back and played recently. Like I just some of these older games. Maybe it's just because I'm older now, and it's like, before I was an adult, before I had to buy my own shit and support myself. No, it's just really, I just remember. Good old days with my family, and this is, before my family kind of broke up and stuff. These older games are kind of what sort of made us happy,
Yeah, and a lot of us had the experiences with cartridges and playing Contra and Doom and stuff like that on those platforms because we didn't really have PCs back in the day, and
the only PC I had was like the old Macintosh, like 1600 or whatever.
Yeah,
that shit was ridiculous. /run, then you had to type in the game to run all
and those old IBM like white computers, those big ones, and it barely had anything in them.
It was like 5 or 6 bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you had the floppy drive. And
my old Macintosh. Floppy. Yeah, my old one. My old system had a floppy in there, and I used to run Dragon Riders on it, and I played the first Crazy Taxi.
Oh yeah, man.
Before Crazy Taxi was like a hit, like nobody knew what Crazy Taxi was back in those days. I played a lot of that as a kid.
What do we had? Oregon Trail. We had the
Trails.
Olympic Games.
You had this game called Taxi, and you had to like stay within the bounds of the line, and all it was like these lines going down, and you couldn't get hit by the lines.
Was Contra in the arcade? I remember.
Contra was in the arcade. Yeah, it was in the arcade.
Yeah, okay.
It was on the what the hell was it? Oh my god, it was like their own PCB board back when arcades had their own PCB boards per game.
Because I remember playing it in the arcade.
Not me, right?
No. So old arcades ran on their own computer chips, right? So
Yep.
like, if you saw Killer Instinct in the arcade, well, the Killer Instinct board this entire board was dedicated to just running Killer Instinct, and that was it. And they were expensive. Like, they were hella expensive. But, I mean, if you had an arcade, they made their money back. So, I mean...
Remember, Nintendo back in the day had their own arcade cabinets that you would go and play exclusively before they hit the N64. Because they did that as a trial run to see how it would run with fans and with the fans, and see how people would take it before they brought it to the N64. That's how California Speed Racing became a thing on the N64. They would do beta testing that way to see how people...
I don't remember any.
Yeah, Cruisin' USA did it like that. Cruisin' World did it like that. Rush, San Francisco Rush did it like that.
It was Rush that did it like that. The only game I remember playing that was like that was
Turok.
Rush, this monster truck game.
Man, I remember Turok back in the day in the arcade before it hit the N64. We would go to the arcade all day just to play Turok.
Yeah.
And Blitz and whatnot, because it never came to the N64 because they tried it out in the arcades first. Nintendo dumped so much money into the arcade, and they realized it was so much money to develop these cabinets. So they eventually just brought all those games to the N64 only, not to the arcade anymore.
Yep.
It became less and less and less.
Man.
But Castlevania is going to be dope on I mean, it's going to be dope on PC because you can up those graphics. You know, especially with the Vega 56s we have, it's going to be really nice.
Well, man, we're not going to be getting the latest Castlevanias. We're getting the oldest. We're getting let me see. It shows here we're getting the NES originals, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse for the NES, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, which is for Game Boy, and Super Castlevania 5 for the SNES. And the Contra collection includes the sequel Super Contra Arcade for the NES, Super C for NES, and Contra 3 Alien Wars for the SNES. So it's going to be all within the 16-bit realm.
Well, yeah, you're going to be playing it at really good resolutions and frame rates, which is going to be nice. And I want to see what it's going to be like on the Nintendo Switch, because I think it's going to be fascinating to see.
That's where these are going to shine. I honestly think that's where these are going to shine. A lot of people are going to love it. All right, so there's that. What else is there? Oh, new character coming in for Apex Legends called Octane. Have you seen that yet?
A little bit of him. I don't fully understand him yet. I didn't get to see much of his ability, but he looked okay.
Let me see if I could find him. But yeah, it looks really interesting.
Looks interesting. I've seen a little bit of it. I mean, Apex, like I said, me and you had this conversation the other night about Apex where we said it's just like kind of that game that we just like, we keep on the side and when we're bored and we play it, you know?
Yep. Yes.
To me personally, I think it's funny that he's named after a car in Rocket League, but you know, I'm kidding.
Have you seen him? He looks like he's got a selfie camera.
Yeah, I saw that.
Apex
Well,
Legends first season. Wild Frontiers here, bringing a battle pass, a new character, and some other changes. This is the biggest update since the game launched in February. After spending a few hours playing as a new legend Octane, I'm excited for this new influx of content, even if I'm not entirely sure what it will bring. Oh, so he's going to cost 750 Apex coins. That's not too bad. Or 12,000 free legend tokens to unlock.
So, I mean, my thing with Apex is the season pass, the battle pass they're doing is not too bad. And the amount of characters, they're doing it slowly. And I'll give Respawn their due. They're not shoving like other BRs are doing, like rushing it all at once. They're doing it slow rollouts. And I don't really consider Apex to be a battle royale to me. People say it's a battle royale, but I really call it a massive multiplayer.
Do you see this though? Like he's got his own launch pad. He's just gonna be bouncing all over the place, dude. Like, holy shit!
Is he gonna do the whole winky face like D.Va does in Overwatch?
Well, I mean, he's already got the selfie cam going, so he might as well, dude. I mean, but I'm actually happy for this game, man. I really am. Like, I'll play it like once in a blue moon, like we said the other night. I can't play more than that, or I'm gonna lose interest in it, and I don't want to do that. So. Report EA paid Ninja $1 million to stream Apex Legends. Here's the thing about that, though. I didn't know about Apex Legends by him. I learned about it the morning it came out because Shroud was playing it, and I watched Shroud on Twitch.
You know, because Shroud's better.
Well, Shroud is God tier, okay? Jeez.
I knew about Apex because they announced it last year at E3, and... Well, I'm a Titanfall fan, so when I saw this, I was like, because I saw the trailer weeks before they showed a trailer off on it, so I was like, oh, this is gonna. They teased us and said this is gonna be Titanfall 3, and I was like, this is cool, and then they were like, no, this is Apex Legends, and I was just like, I was shocked that they dropped the bomb like that, and it's worked out for Respawn. It's turned them around as a company, and more people are playing their games. And as I told you, Brimstone, in the last game talks, I was really excited to see what they're going to do with the Star Wars franchise, because if Apex,
oh my god, that's going to be so good. I have a feeling it's going to be good.
And supposedly it's going to have a story, so I'm like, it's even better than Battlefront. If Respawn makes a really good Star Wars game, right, and Apex goes the way it's going, I want Respawn from here on out. Don't let DICE touch Star Wars anytime soon.
Yo, like, DICE has been sort of fallen, hasn't it? Like, it's sort of been like, they went from being the premier developer for Battlefield to, like, now everybody's kind of like, yeah, DICE, can you just go do something else, please? Like, stay away from Star Wars.
Can I say this?
Huh?
I say this, I want to see Respawn make a Battlefield. Wouldn't it be?
That would be kind of cool.
It'd be interesting. Like a futuristic Battlefield game. Maybe with me, they don't have to call it Titanfall. They can have like maybe some type of mech, because me and Metro were talking about this. We haven't seen a mecha game in a while. Like, that was great. You know, they could call it Battlefield and make it futuristic with some mechs.
Like I always say, like, if we would have gotten at least one good Gundam game, because, you know, the only Gundam game we got on Steam flopped, that would have quelled my mecha hype forever. Seeing as we probably would never get like Titanfall on PC, because it's an Xbox, we're usually exclusive. I would take a Titanfall on PC or something like it, or just something mecha.
You know what I want for mecha, dude? Like, I want the game to be backwards compatible already. And it was like the first of its kind on the Xbox 360.
Armor?
No. Well, yeah, Armored Core would be good, but it's made by the same people, and it was called Chrome Hounds. Dude, the game looked beast. Like, you could create your own shit, and it looked awesome. And it was a bit slow paced, like Mech Assault or Mech Warrior, but it played so good. And the way they handled that game was just awesome. And then all of a sudden, it just it flew off the end, and it just dive bombed. Like, we don't know what the hell happened to it. But the company that does that game, like, they're those same ones that did Armored Core, and they just haven't done anything with it. And I really wish they would put that on the backwards compatibility list. I want to play that game.
I'll say this in the game talks. I don't understand EA's direction. That's my thing. I don't understand EA. They're focusing. They brought out Anthem, right? Not trying to knock on Anthem, but it seems to me, as a person that buys games and is an average consumer, I've noticed EA's more focusing on Apex. Everything they're doing for Apex is fantastically done. And then you look at Anthem, and it's just like, Well, you kind of missed the ball with this, like a little bit.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm a little sad about that.
they could've
I
done
hope.
it, but they could've
I
done it.
hope. I hope.
There's still
I
time.
really want to
There's still-
love.
There's still time for them to fix Anthem. Like everybody, there's a lot of people that have talked like Anthem's dead, but the community is still playing that game. Like there's a lot of people online who are still playing that game. So I mean, it can't be all that bad if there's still like tons of people playing it. It's just, I think there's just a lot of people that want to support it and they want to see it get fixed, and I get it. So I hope it does get fixed.
Well, hey, then you got a game like we're playing right now called The Division. And it's really nice.
So Division 2, let's go ahead and get into that because we're coming up on the oh wow, it's already past 30 minutes. Damn. Division 2. Like honestly, I didn't think I was going to like that game as much as I have. Like I'm really enjoying it. Like it is actually a really good game. I mean, I've dropped off the internet with it a few times, but I don't really care. Like it's not that big of a deal cuz I'm playing for like 3 to 4 hours before I drop anyways, so not that big of a deal. And I hear that they're supposed to be fixing that soon, so hey, whatever. I'm enjoying myself a lot. Landon, you just got this, and you're running this on your 980 Ti, right? So how is it running for you?
It runs fine. Even when I'm streaming, which was the concern that I had, was like I was hoping that it wouldn't lag while streaming.
I mean, it was a little choppy, but like it was still enjoyable to watch. Like it wasn't bad.
And I mean, the only reason why it was choppy on stream because it ran fine on my monitor, and it has something to do with Windows not supplying the right bandwidth to OBS. Other than that, it ran fine even while streaming, just it itself.
Yeah.
And I know you were saying when you first played it, like you could just walk around the map by itself and just interact with things around you, not even do missions. And that's what I got too. It's like that sense of the best way I can describe it. I'm usually the resident Nintendo guy. The best way to describe it is like Breath of the Wild, but like modern day and guns.
Yeah.
It's like really seamless. Enemies are everywhere and in specific spots, and there's so much to do.
Yeah.
And that's
I'll say
how I
this.
describe it.
I'll say this about The Division. Best $59.99 or $64.64 after tax that I have spent in a long time.
Same.
I had this similar amount of fun with Destiny 2 because I played it over and over again. Played it for like multiple different times. I'm having the same fun with The Division that I did with Destiny, and I know Destiny tailed off after a while, but I played The Division 1, and this is a breath of fresh air to me. And Ubisoft on the PC side, from what I've seen, is really working hard listening, and that's what I'm giving them credit on. The game is super fun. I've had a blast playing with you guys, with Lady as well. It's been a blast.
I got up earlier this afternoon, got on with you guys for a little bit, left, came back, took a nap after eating dinner, and then I've been on it ever since, all the way up until like just before we started the podcast.
And I experienced the Dark Zone for the first time. I never experienced it in Division 1, and I'll tell you, the Dark Zone is so fun going rogue on somebody. It is so cool.
I haven't yet to experience Dark Zone, but when I do, I think I'll probably like it.
I am not going to experience it until I max level, because when I did the PvP tonight, doing Conquest and Skirmish, I don't know if everybody scaled back, because I was getting one-shotted by people's guns. One dude hit me like 3 or 4 times and I was down, right? And like I was hitting this guy with my dragon, with my what is it, the PDS or SDP sniper rifle or whatever the hell it's called, and that does over 1k damage, and I didn't even touch this guy's shield. No, this was just a scrim.
Okay, so scrims are different than being in the Dark Zone. It's its own leveling.
Oh,
so you level it's its own entity. So there's multiplayer, and then there's Dark Zone. So Dark Zone is technically where you're in an open environment, and you can get weapons where you call in a chopper to come in and take your weapons that migrate back into the regular story.
Yeah.
And which is cool about it is, so when the chopper comes down, everybody can come at you and go rogue at you, which is cool. So everybody's got their own level within the Dark Zone. So like I started out at level 1, and by the end of 3 hours that I played, I reached level 20 tier 5. So you get tiers every 10 levels you get, which is really cool. I was really shocked how cool. I would take the Dark Zone personally over the main story. That's just me though. I would live in the Dark Zone because it's so much fun. Yeah, I mean, grabbing guns and going rogue against people, it's cool. And then you don't know when you're doing the whole getting the weapons into the chopper, you don't know when somebody's going to go rogue. So you think you're getting help with the chopper part. Somebody could turn rogue at the last minute and kill you. So you don't know what's going to happen, which is...
Yeah, I think I saw you were streaming that a bit today, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit today or yesterday. The other day I was. It's super fun. The Division's worth $59.99. If you can even you get it with a CPU from AMD, you get a new graphics card from AMD, you get it. It's worth it. I'm very happy with it. I don't understand the reviews online with the game. They're saying it's a bland game, but for me, I'm having a blast. I don't understand. But the review scores are in, and it's 9s and 8s and 10s. Oh, I'm cool. Maybe game of the year, maybe this year, maybe.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised because like the community around this game have been giving it glowing reviews. Like almost every YouTuber I've seen so far, except for like the minor one or two here or there that have had issues with Ubisoft, they've all given it really high praise. So I'm really happy to see Ubisoft trying to make a comeback to the PC gaming community.
And if you buy this game right now on Ubisoft, you get 2 games for free or a game for free or something like that.
What? I bought my game on Ubisoft and I didn't get one for free.
If you pre-ordered it, you got. I believe I think they still have that deal going on where you can get 1 game included with it for free. I believe, or they stopped it, but they had that for a while. It was a really good bundle, and they even have New Dawn for $20. I'm like, geez, Ubisoft's really throwing you some games for the price.
Yeah.
Ubisoft really wants your business, and I don't mind it. The only thing I don't like is how they went with the Epic Game Store in a way, because they're having issues with that from what I was reading.
What I don't understand is DRM stacked on top of DRM. Like that is just a huge waste of time for me.
Well, like, they're using the anti-cheat that Fortnite uses. And they're using Epic Games anti-cheat system as well at the same time, and then they're using I have no clue. It's just confusing. The only thing I wish Ubisoft would fix is the crashing. I crash every 3 hours, I've noticed, or every 4, which is not a big deal to me. They'll get it right. It's optimized for AMD technology, and you could tell on our Vega 56s, I could tell it runs very, very smooth.
Ultra out, by the way. Everything's ultra out.
DirectX 12
enabled, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, my shit like did that automatically. Like I didn't have to go in and do it. Like I actually went in the options, went in advanced. Everything was turned all the way up. Not one thing was turned off. I was like, ooh. Like, oh, I didn't know I was done with this kind of powerhouse. All right, let's check it out. So, how many frames are you getting on yours? Because I feel like I'm getting way more than 100.
I am getting roughly on my 2600 with 32 gigs of RAM. I'm most likely getting in the ballpark of like 100 to 110.
Yeah,
roughly, and then
and
then like certain spots in the game, I'm getting about the lowest probably like 80.
Yeah,
when you're really in intense scenes.
Very, very small dips though. Yeah, I noticed that when we were fighting, we were fighting in the one of the areas where. Really heavily packed with people. Me, you, Chrissy, and Landon we kept dropping like flies. But like damn, like I didn't know this card could handle that kind of like intensity. Having all the effects on like that, having all of the enemies in one spot, and we're not talking about like 5 or 6. There was like, I would say close to about 30 rushing us from each side of the fucking room. I'm really surprised with this card. Like, I'm glad you suggested it, dude, because like this shit, the handling, the performance of this thing, like holy Christ, dude, like it is such a huge difference versus what I've had. So,
well, I've been telling people for a while, AMD's not some slouch anymore. I mean, for the mid range of what you're getting, AMD's got you there at the mid range. On the high end, not so much. They don't really have anything out there right now. They tried with the Vega 7, and it's not really there. If they drop the card like $100, the Vega 7, then I could turn around and go, oh, okay, AMD's got you there at the high end starting range. They got you there. But right now they're asking for too much for that card, so that's why I've been recommending 64s and 56s and 590s and 580s. You can't, and then Nvidia tried to come in on that mark. We can have this argument all day long, you know, about this whole thing, but Nvidia decided as a knee-jerk reaction to bring out cards that make no sense. They really make no sense.
Right. You're right. No, I mean, I almost bought one. Remember, like I was thinking about buying the 1660 Ti because I thought it was a good deal for the kind of performance it was getting with all the benchmarks that I saw on it. But then they brought in the 56, and I was like, whoa, that 56 is shitting all over that thing. What the hell?
Just remember, guys, if you're going out and getting a new AMD card, you have until April, I believe it's April 1st by 12 midnight. If you go out and some information in the Game Talks here. If you're going out and you want that 3-game bundle or even a CPU bundle, you have until April 1st before that bundle ends.
It is really worth it. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's like I didn't think I was gonna like my card this much, but I'm actually loving my card.
Hey, it's a content renderer. It's a beast.
It's a rendering gaming beast, dude. Yeah, that's what I wanted, and that's what I got. Yeah.
And you know what's cool about the encoding? You're getting H.265 support out of the box. AMD's giving you that on OBS, H.265 HAVIC. I'm saying the word probably wrong, but HAVIC encoding.
No,
which is cool.
I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, you're good.
For like 4K and like 1080p, if you're deciding to do that, it does all that.
Yeah.
Unlike its counterpart, which doesn't.
Metro's getting his soon. He had to send his back, unfortunately. He got a defect.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Can we have an F in the chat form?
Right. Metro, you still awake? I fell asleep, guys. I'm sorry. I'm tired.
What is he not sleeping? You slacker.
Shit. So, sorry about if I raped you guys' ears just now. My swivel arm just, like, turned my fucking mic all over 360 degrees, and I barely touched it. We are coming up on the 46-minute mark. Do we want to close anything out? Is there anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, not really.
No.
I think we really hit the nail on the head, man. We could talk more about the Division because it's so addicting.
No, it really is actually. Like, I'm actually looking forward to playing some more before I go to bed tonight. I'm actually trying to push the end of this so I can go back and play it.
Hey, make sure to get some shaving cream from Metro. Sorry, Metro, if you watch this back, I'm sorry. You gotta get some shaving cream.
Dude, if I had shaving cream, dude, I would do it. I'm not gonna lie. If I had that shit, oh yeah. Little bitch couldn't even wait it out. What a girl. Such a girl. Man, oh man. Let's go. It's cool though, whatever. He's been falling asleep, like I don't know, like he is tired if he doesn't get at least 12 hours of sleep. Like, I don't know this guy not to sleep all day, pretty much. Not talking shit, I'm just saying, like, he sleeps a lot for a dude his age. But you know what? We're gonna go ahead and bring up XP's page. We're gonna do the before and after. Hopefully you guys like it. You guys, thank you for watching the Game Talks podcast. We're going to be doing some new content next week as well. Hopefully we can keep this going. I want to say thank you to everybody that shows up to this, and thank you for watching us. I really do appreciate it, and I enjoy this. I enjoy doing this. This is a lot of fun, being able to have Rev on here, having Landon every now and then if he doesn't fall asleep in the middle of the show. It is always a blast. So here's some more of XP38's before and after.